Hey guys, today we're going to talk about some genetic disorders and we're going to look at some differences between the different disorders. So, you have what's called autosomal disorders. These are found on the chromosome pairs 1 through 22, and those are called autosomes. And so, they are basically the body type cells, the somatic cells. These are where you're finding your autosomal disorders. Then you have sex linked or recessive disorders that are found on chromosome pair 23, which are your sex chromosomes. Chromosomes disorders are too few or too many of the chromosomes can have them. Sex linked disorders, these are found on the X chromosome, generally affects men. Some examples are things like color blindness, where you can't distinguish colors, commonly red and green, and there was also a couple of other kinds that you can have. This affects 1 in 10 males and 1 in 100 females. So females can be colorblind, but it takes two X's in order for them to have that colorblind trait. Usually they're carriers if they have the one X with the colorblind gene. Hemophilia, which is where the blood fails to clot after an injury. This is 1 in 10,000 males. And muscular dystrophy, which is weakening of the loss of skeletal tissue, which is 1 in 3,500 males. So, autosomal recessive disorders would be things like cystic fibrosis. This is where the mucus clogs airways and ducts and lungs and other organs, and so it causes a lot of digestive problems. Excuse me. Um, they show you a normal channel on the left side, and on the right side, they show you a mutant channel, and you can see how the normal channel has an opening and a close and an area for it to be released, and the mutant one has it all sort of tangled up so that it's hard to have an opening for those different things to come through. Autosomal recessive disorders are things like cystic fibrosis and albinism. So you can see some albino animals at the bottom, some of the pictures that they have of the little squirrel and the little bear. And this affects the pigment melanin in your skin, your hair, your eyes, and it can cause deafness. Cystic fibrosis is again where mucus clogs the airways and ducts in the lungs, causes digestive problems. Albinism means that you have a lack of the pigment melanin. And then there's sickle cell disease, and this is where your abnormal hemoglobin is rigid and sickle shaped, can't transport oxygen very well, and it can get stuck in the capillaries. So this is what sickle cell looks like. It has a weird shape, so it does get stuck more often and can't carry the hemoglobin as well. Phenylketonuria, which is PKU, this destroys the nervous system and causes mental retardation. And then Tay Sachs disease causes mental retardation, blindness, and muscle weakness. Huntington's disease is the wasting away of brain tissue, and it causes uncontrolled movements, emotional disturbances, and mental deterioration, and it can be fatal. And then there's a bone disorder causing dwarfism. So chromosome disorders are where you have more or less than 46 chromosomes. It's generally not inherited. This happens when homologous chromosomes fail to separate during meiosis, which is called non-disjunction. This is a karyotype. We learned about karyotypes last week, but this is a picture of two different individuals. The one on the left is a female, and the one on the right is a male. Down syndrome is where you have an extra chromosome on the 21st pair. That's why it's called trisomy 21. You have birth defects, mild to severe mental retardation, deformed facial features. So here are some different things that can happen when you have Down syndrome. Turner syndrome is where you have a missing X. So usually this individual is associated with a female. So the person is sterile, the sex organs do not develop at puberty, and then they can have some other problems with it as well. Klinefelter syndrome is where you have an extra X. So you have two X's and a Y. So you usually are considered male, but you have some of both of the different features of a male and a female with this disease. Okay, this is the end of the genetic disorder. This PowerPoint is not my creation. It is Miss Nivell's creation, and so she is the one who created this.